Welcome to the Real Estate Entrepreneurs Podcast.
Welcome to the Real Estate Entrepreneurs Podcast. Today I have the honor of bringing you Mr. Robert G. Allen, who's my friend number one, but he's also one of my mentors. And he mentors me in businesses and marketing and life and so many different things that Bob and I talk about. We actually had a pre-podcast before the podcast, Bob. So thank you for your time, Bob. I know you're a very busy man, but you're also a giver. So that's what I love about you the most, is that you are such a giver. You have changed so many lives, including mine, throughout your whole life. So I am honored to have you here one more time, Bob. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Robert Allen here. I haven't been as present recently because in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s and 2010s, my books have been published all over the world, multiple streams of income and creating wealth, nothing down, how to buy real estate with nothing down. All kinds of the 1 Minute Millionaire. These are books that are out there in the world. And Ricardo and I have been working on his book, so we still have to finish that, Ricardo.
Which, by the way, I'm as soon as I hit Venezuela, I will have all the time in the world to do that, because I moved all my. You remember? I think you went to my office and you saw my podcast studios and all that stuff, and so all that stuff is over there now, and that's where my team is. And one of my goals is before the end of December to finish that book. So I'm gonna set an hour a day to record it, and I want to record it as well, Bob. So I want to put it on YouTube. I want to put it on multiple areas in short clips, right? And then we'll release the book. So yes.
So everybody here that's watching us, if you don't have a book, you should, because no matter what business you're in, a book is going to 10 times your revenue over the next 5 years, because it just gives you instant credibility. But we're not here to talk about how you write your own book.
No, let's do that, because look, I love this. I love this topic, Bob, because most of these real estate investors that are listening to us today, they probably know who you are, and if they don't, shame on them. They need to go find out who you are. Okay, and they all need a book.
Yeah, you do, because it's a lead generator. So you need leads for two sources. You need leads for money, for real estate money, to partner with you. You're going to run out of money before you run out of good deals. So you always got to have a book that gives you credibility to show people what you're doing. And the people who have money but don't have the time would contact you and they'd say, I got this money. Can you help me? Can you help me make it grow? And so therefore you can raise money that way. But you also can have find leads, deals. You need to find deals of people that are out there in the world. And if you can show them that you're professional and you're credible and you've got the book, and it just gives you this instant credibility. You can say, this is what I do. I'm an expert. You have a property you're trying to sell. I get that. You want to deal with somebody who's credible. I'm going to ask you to do some creative financing, some creative things here. And you probably are going to wonder not if I'm legitimate. Well, let me give you a copy of my book. And so it helps you build your business in all kinds of ways, besides just doing the YouTube things like Ricardo's teaching how. If you have on your YouTube channel that if you'd like to, I'd like to give you a copy of my book. Well, it's a digital book. It's not going to cost you any money. So right. You want to give away your book? Absolutely, give it away. If they want a physical copy with your autograph for them, that makes it even better. But then you charge them free plus shipping, and they get their address, and then you send them a copy of the book for enough money to cover your costs. So
how did you get into let's go back in time, Bob. When you got into your first book, how did that happen? Like, what was the thing that drove you there?
That's the first book. Let's see. Yeah, here's what the first book looked like. Let's see. I don't know if I have a copy of that one. I was doing little seminars in
Okay.
my hometown, Provo, Utah, and the seminars were going really well. I was practicing my content, making sure my message was right for my audience, and then I went and got my book published. A couple of years before, I was doing my seminars, I'm making good money, but then I went into a booksellers convention and I sold my book to Simon and Schuster. But it takes 2 years to get a book out. So by that time, my seminars were really rolling nicely. And then the book comes out and it becomes #1 New York Times bestseller. And people are, I times my income by 10, because I'm doing little seminars. But when you become a New York Times bestseller, it just makes your business go through the roof. So not only did I have more money in my seminars teaching people how to buy real estate with lower no money down, but people are showing up and saying, will you teach me how to do what you're doing? Will you be a partner with me? So I would be able to flip real estate deals a lot faster that way. So yeah, it's a tool that all of you should have, absolutely. And of course, I teach a little class on how to become a best-selling author. Once a month, it's called the Author Summits, authorsummits.com. You just show up there. It's free. It's a couple of days of 4 hours one day, 3 hours another, and I'll tell you all the secrets, because there are some mistakes you're going to make if you want to write a book. You think you know what you're doing.
I love that, because let's talk about that for a second, Bob. What are the top 3 mistakes somebody makes when writing a book?
Number one, they write a book and they don't gather the database. And most people, they go to these pseudo publishers, these fake publishers that will do your book for you. They'll help you get it edited. They'll put it up on Amazon, but the marketing stops at the end of that. And therefore you're left alone with you having to sell your own book, because the average self-published book sells like 300 copies in the lifetime of the book. And that's not what you want. You want to have something that continues to sell. So because every book is a lead. In the book, frankly, every book is a Trojan horse. If you remember the story of the Trojan horse,
yes.
the walls of Troy are too big for let the Greeks come in. So they have the Trojan horse and they leave it out there, and people bring it inside. It's a beautiful horse. What a nice gift. But inside, the guys come out and open the gate, because the only way to get the gate is from the inside. You got to get inside people's gates, and in a positive way. You give them good, free information. That's what you're doing with your YouTube channel. You give great, free content. People like it because they don't want to pay for it. And yet, if they realize they might need some more advanced marketing and some advanced mentoring, then they do pay you for other things. But you give it away for free. So my book helped make my seminars crush it, and then that was the #1 bestseller. Then Creating Wealth came out, also #1 New York Times bestseller. Then Multiple Streams of Income, The 1 Minute Millionaire. But all those books have ways of gathering the leads. You need a database. And the purpose of a book is to get the name. If your book doesn't get you the name, it's a waste of time, because it won't sell unless you sell it. And the only way you can sell it is to get the name, so you can communicate and educate and give free stuff. And eventually 1/10 of them will give you money. 90% will never give you a dime. But you've helped the world. You've made the world a better place because of your giving. So yeah, every one of you needs a book. It just get it done ASAP.
So first mistake is by the publisher. Second mistake. What's the second mistake?
The second mistake is to write your autobiography.
Yes, that's the one I remember you telling me from the get-go when we first started working together.
Nobody cares about your autobiography unless your story makes their story better. And therefore, you design a new way of doing an autobiography. Yes, your story is sprinkled throughout the book, but you're teaching them how to achieve a dream. For my case, it was how to make money in real estate. I've become a millionaire in real estate. So the bottom line, if you read my book, I'm going to show you how to become a millionaire. I'm going to tell you some of my stories throughout the book, but I'm going to teach you the 50 nothing down techniques that you can use like I used. And so therefore, the weakest word in a book that you open up the cover, the weakest word you're going to read in that first chapter is the word I, me, my, or mine. And as soon as a person thinks that this is going to be just about them, about the author, they're going to go, I'm not interested, because what's the best radio station in the world? WIIFM. What's in it for me? And if your book isn't telling them what's in it for them, then they'll stop reading it, because you're not famous enough. You're not interesting enough for people who want to give you more money. So you have to create your book in a series of steps to get to the big promise of your book. When they finish reading your book, you'll tell them exactly how they're going to achieve the promise you make. And so that's mistake number one, an autobiography, and the I word. The strong word is you. The words, I did it, but I'm going to teach you how you can do it, because when you do it, it changes your life. See, I'm using the word you. But most authors, all these self-published books, they're crap, because they really don't teach the reader why it's important to spend a little extra money to be coached by them. Because frankly, you read a book, you come away with more questions than you do with answers. And the questions are, but how does that relate to me and my personal circumstances? And therefore they need to ask questions to somebody. And so you do a webinar, you do something for free, or you do a YouTube thing. You give it away so you can invite people to have all their stupid questions answered. So those are just two of the 12 stupid mistakes. One is you got to have a great title. If you don't have a great title, forget it. Nobody's going to find it. 2 million books get published this year on Amazon. 2 million. Wow. Brand new. So where's your book going to fit? It's going to fit at the bottom of that pile, because all those 2 million books are going to promote their book to get it to number one, to try to promote it, to make it sell. But if you aren't doing any promotion, then you're lost in the marketing, and your book will be buried, and they'll never find you. When they try to Google you, they'll find a lot of other people. So your title's got to stand out. It's got to be powerful. I like to do what I call a metaphor, which is I want to hook all of my steps to an image. So when I do my book, which looks like this. Hey, I'll just give one to them, Ricardo. If they go to my author summits, I'll give them a copy of this. But inside, no money, it's free. I just want to give it away to you, because that's what marketers do, right?
Right.
So that's what you do. Is you're for real estate, you have a real estate program, you got to give a lot of stuff away. So this is my metaphor. It's a climbing to the top of I want to be a bestseller, but there are 12 steps, and they're climbing to the very top. This is my metaphor. It's climbing a mountain. But there are all kinds of other metaphors. There's butterflies, and there's gold, silver, bronze, like Olympics, all kinds of metaphors. It's good to have a way to hook it to an image they remember, because I showed you at the very beginning of this book, I showed you the entire book. It's in one place. It's on one metaphor. If you read this entire book, you'll read every single one of these 12 steps, and in order in which I want you to do them, which most books don't do that. Most books just write a table of contents filled with contents of stuff to talk about. If it's real estate, well, let's talk about how to finance your deals. Let's talk about how to fix up your deals. Let's talk about how to fund your deals. Let's talk about how to find your deals. Let's put the content in chunks of content. Let's find out how to get the title search, that kind of thing. It's just chunks of chapters. But in my opinion, I want to know it in the order in which I need to learn it, and in which I need to do it. So I need to learn how to find deals. If I can't learn how to find deals, who cares about how much money I have? Who cares about how to fix it up? If I can't find it, So I'm going to start there. I'm going to say you have a foundation, and therefore this is the steps you need to take. You find it, fund it, farm it, So there are steps specific. And so as you write your book, I would say to you, um, how are you going to show your person who's doing the deals with you? Remember, if you're say a fix and flipper, you want to find people who have properties to flip. So you want to find the deals, right? But if you want to flip it, you got to find people who will buy it, who will take them off your hands, where the money's at, right? So you have two people that you're trying to reach, and both of them are trying to solve a problem. The person who's trying to sell is trying to get rid of their deal. They're trying to get rid of it as fast as they can. They're a don't wanter. They don't want it. They want to get rid of it, and the faster the better, right? So you show them from your system, hey, I'm showing you some stories. This person, I flipped it in 9 days. This person, it was 16 days. This one's a little longer. This was 32 days. You have them give testimonials about what you're doing. And then you teach your system in the book. You actually show them, this is how I find my deals. You actually show them your system. And you say, well, I don't want to give away my secrets. Well, you don't have to give away all your secrets. But most likely, the secrets of how you find your deals, they're not secrets. Everybody knows them. It just means, do you have the consistency to bring leads in the door? And the best way to bring a lead in the door is with a book. Now, when it comes to finding the money, not only do you want to find the money, but you want to have multiple streams of income. You want to find the money to do the deal, but most of those people will be passive investors. I give you the money. You give me a guaranteed 10% rate of return, whatever. Okay, thank you. Great, I appreciate it. I didn't lift a single finger. My money's working for me. Thank you very much. But many of those people who come into your world will be people who want to do what you're doing. They want to find, flip, fix. They want to do what you're doing. They want to learn how you're doing it, and therefore, you can make money by teaching them how to do what you're doing. In other words, it's a seminar you're teaching. You're actually sharing with some of your secrets. Yeah, you are, because you're making good money at it. If you could have, let's say you had 10 people a month that wrote you a $5,000 check because you now are teaching them the secrets of how you do it. Well, that's another 50 grand. That's like flipping one deal, But now you have multiple streams of income. And therefore, problem with most of us as entrepreneurs, we don't have streams of income. We have chunks of money. We made a chunk. We flipped it. We got our 10, 15, 20 flipping, deal. But then we have to go find another deal, right? And we don't have any cash flow. And so what happens if the time stretches out to finding, as it has recently, the time stretches out, the deals are not quite as good. You can find them, but you can't flip them because, the interest rates are too high and there are too many people on the market. So I need stability in cash flow. So you offer in your book your system and you show them how you do it. And some of them will copy you. Yep, they will. And
it's okay, but
it's okay.
Copy is when somebody copies you, that's kind of like, to me, it's not even an insult. It's more of a flattery kind of thing.
Yeah, it's flattery. However, it can cost you a deal or two. There's no doubt about it.
Of
course. If you're doing, you're usually going to be pretty much geographically oriented. Although, Ricardo, you're a genius at having people find deals all around the United States. You've got a whole team of people that helps you find the deals. They actually help fund it's amazing the way your team works. But generally speaking, a lot of us are pretty geographically oriented, and so that means if your book is promoted nationally or internationally, then you're going to find people in other markets you'll never reach. They'll be doing deals that you'll never get to. So you could teach your competition in another city, and you're the one that can sell where you sell your book anyway. if you find out that a person wants to buy your book, but they happen to be located in your city, you might say, I'm sorry, I'm not going to sell you my book. But here's what will happen. A lot of them, we're also dang independent, and we just want to do it by ourselves. So we get a book, and we take a course, and we start trying to do it by ourselves. And then we go, you know what, this is harder than I thought. I need to have somebody coach me on this. So it really, even though they wanted to do it and copy what you're doing, eventually they end up back in your lap anyway. You'd say, because you're the person that got me started, will you be my mentor now? And so I have my students, of course, Ricardo, you are a student.
Yeah.
I got an email like 2 weeks ago, two days ago, by a guy who read my book, Creating Wealth. And the book it's been out for 40 years,
Wow.
It's a long time, but people still pick it up. And so he picked it up like 10 years later after it came out. And he was just writing me an email. I don't know how he found me. He says, I just want to thank you. I got laid off from my job. All the people I worked with got laid off from their job. They're all crying in their beer, telling me that this is horrible, terrible, rotten. He says, for me, it was thank you, God. I really didn't want to go to work anymore. I did what Robert Allen told me to do: buy 2 houses a year for 10 years and you'd retire. And he said, I bought more than 10, I bought a whole bunch more. I had cash flows coming in, and I still had a job. But he goes, hey, I quit. Well, they fired me. The company went bankrupt. And thank you, Robert, for changing my life. So that's the kind of story I want you guys to have, where eventually one day one of your students comes back and you're now successful at doing what you're doing, and you need a little pixie dust where Robert or you'd be the expert. They want you to come back into their life. And so I speak twice a year in Italy. I get paid a huge speaking fee. They fly me first class for myself and my wife, or business class, myself and my wife, twice a year, fully paid for. Vacations from a guy came to my door, rang my doorbell in 2006, and he said, I want to be like you, And so 10 years later, I'm invited on his board of directors on a company in Italy, but he speaks to tens of thousands of people a year, and my name gets attached to that. So there's other streams of income down the road. So I'm trying to open up your mind to possibilities of getting your book done. It's just something you got to do. Get your book out there, period. Got to get it done.
Absolutely. What's mistake number 3, Bob, on writing a book?
Well, when you come to that seminar, I'm going to give you the book, but the first chapter is called The 12 Stupid Mistakes.
Okay. Can we mention those? Can we go from 3 to 12?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, here we go. Number 1, writing your autobiography. That's stupid mistake number 1. Number 2, trying to change the world. Everybody thinks I'm going to write a book that everybody's going to want. Nobody's going to want that kind of book because it's too general. It's got to be riches are in the niches. So you got to be very specific. Getting writer's block. People, they just don't know how to finish their dang book. I do my summit about once a month, and I ask them, the very first question I ask everybody, how long have you wanted to write your book? And I get back, every single one of them is 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. I said, why didn't you get your book done? Why didn't you just do it? Get it done. And the title of this is How You Can Be a Best-Selling Author in Only 30 Minutes a Day. If you don't have 30 minutes a day to write a book, then you don't deserve to be a best-selling author. You don't deserve it, because then anybody can find 30 minutes. Get up 30 minutes earlier, go to bed 30 minutes later, give up your lunch hour, but you can do 30 minutes, and you do 30 only focused minutes on exactly that one thing. If you're being distracted by a million other things, your phones, you're being texted, everything else, it'll never get done. Shut it off. Give me 30 minutes, period. Your book is done in 90 days, and you're generating leads thereafter. So that's getting writer's block, and most people do have it. Becoming a cliche. They come up to me with their titles, and they say, what do you think of this title, Bob? And it's a cliche title. It's like how to prosper, profit. It's just the same title. There's this, and I take them to Amazon. You want to find out how your title, if it's a good title or not, go to Amazon and type in your title, what you thought you would like for your title. And you're going to find, generally speaking, a dozen books by the exact same title. And therefore, if you're running money on advertising, and you're spending money on your YouTube ads or things like that, like Ricardo will show you how to get your YouTube channel cranking, but you'll be spending money on advertising to bring money in the door, to make much more money in the door. But if you're sending them to buy, if you're telling them about your book, and they go sneak out and don't want to pay any money to you, they go to Amazon to buy your book, and they find there are 20 other books by the same title. They can't remember your name. Right. They just kind of remember what the title was. So you're basically sending leads to your competitors. So how stupid is that? And so you all the money you spend on advertising gets wasted when the people go to get the book so you can get their name. It doesn't work. So I made that mistake with Nothing Down and Creating Wealth, my first 2 million copy bestsellers, and they didn't have a way to reach me. My third book was called, let me show you my third book. My third book was this one right here. Now my first book was Nothing Down, 1 million copies. You can see why. Well, everybody wants to buy real estate. Creating Wealth didn't have a subtitle, but this sold 1 million copies. This is my third book. So that's the subtitle.
The challenge.
The challenge. When you walk into a bookstore, are you looking for a challenge? I said, send me to any unemployment line. Let me select someone who's broke, out of work, and discouraged. Is that who I really want? In my database, someone who's broke, discouraged, and unemployed. It was the wrong title at the wrong time. Horrible. But I put inside that book ways to reach me. There are only 60,000 people bought the book, but 20,000 sent me their name. And now I had an entire book that talked about how I had taught people who were broke how to succeed in 90 days. And I said, would you like to come to a seminar where I could teach you how you can do that? And 5,000 of those 20,000 people wrote me a $5,000 check. So what's 5,000 times 5,000?
That's a lot of money. That's $2.5 million.
No, $25 million. 25 million. So see, having a database is very, very important. In my first 2 books, I didn't do that because the publisher wouldn't let me. So anyway, finishing up real fast. Don't write boring words. You want to make your own little. The boring words are. It can't be a wall of words. What I'm trying to tell you. So you open up this book, you'll notice that every single page has an eye catcher. That's a quote. Every single page. These are quotes. These are humorous thoughts, right?
Right.
Every single page has an image on it because people don't want a wall of words. They want you to get it immediately with a chart, a graph, an image, because most of us are visual. And so I want to get them stuck inside the book. If they're looking online, I want them to scan through the book and see all kinds of images and charts and graphs where they go, I got to get the book. But if there's just a whole bunch of words, most people pick up the first chapter of a book and never pick it up again. First chapter. And that's why a lot of books never get read. Anyway, so I don't know how much time we have. You want some more?
We got about 10 minutes, so we're good. It's more because of you. I know you have another call coming in, so
mistake. So boring words, number 1. Number 2, picking a bland title with a weak promise. You have to test your titles. If your title doesn't continually win every test, it's not a great title. You get a winning title, then you go test it with 3 or 4 other titles. And if it doesn't win out of those 3 or 4 more, you pick the one that wins, In other words, you got to pick a title that in a marketing database test constantly has people saying, oh, yeah, I want that title. Number 7, looking like self-published crap. If it looks like self-published crap, people know unconsciously that it's not classy, and you're not classy. If your book looks like self-published crap, you are self-published crap. And so it's your legacy. Don't do that. Forgetting to build a database is mistake number 8. Mistake number 9 is thinking your book is just a book. Your book's not a book, it's a business.
Mm.
You make a lot more money from profits than you will from royalties. And the royalties have gotten worse and worse and worse, frankly. If it's a traditional publishing book, it's about 15%. So if it's a $20 book, you make $3. But the average book sells 5,000 copies in the lifetime of the book. So $3 times 5,000 copies, 15,000. Don't quit your day job. It's just, you're not going to make your fortune on royalties. I did, because I happen to tap into great titles and great marketing. I'm a good marketer, so I could market those titles. But if you're not a good marketer, and the book is being marketed by your publisher, who is a terrible marketer, you can't give that job to somebody else. Number 10, being afraid to look like a fool. You have to be out there in the world, YouTubing like that's what you're doing, and you're telling them you got to be authentic. You make mistakes, you bumble over a word or two, you just keep moving, because that's life. And so you teach them better than anybody, Ricardo, how to get their YouTube channel to work. And a lot of people they're not willing to look like a fool. They go, I don't look good enough, my hair's not quite right, I'm screwing up my words. They're trying to be perfect. You cannot be perfect. As a matter of fact, being perfect is worse if you're authentic. And I learned that mistake myself when I was trying to be perfect and not trying to show how I'd made mistakes in my business life. And there had been an avalanche that destroyed my cabin, and it took me to bankruptcy because the insurance wouldn't pay the insurance. So the bank came after me and drove me into bankruptcy. I wouldn't tell anybody about that. I was afraid that they would see the great Robert Allen as bankrupt. And yet the truth was that happened. And it happened, and it had to drive me to my knees. And I had to dig myself out of it. And I did. And it took 5 very long, very, very painful years. But telling that story was more powerful than them thinking that I was on a pedestal, that I was this incredible genius that had never made a single mistake, and that therefore they had to be like me. And I don't want anybody to have a bankruptcy in your life. But you and I have had that, Ricardo. We know what that's like. You just
I was advised 3 times by 3 different attorneys to file for bankruptcy, but my problem was, Bob, I didn't think I was bankrupt. I just thought I had a cash flow problem, So,
right.
so I remember telling my attorney, he's like, Ricardo, you're gonna have to file. You got $15 million worth of debt that you're gonna have to clear one way or another. And the quickest and the easiest way is to file for bankruptcy. And I said, man, I can't do that because I'm not bankrupt. I just got a cash flow problem. But the truth is, I was bankrupt as hell. Like I was out of money and I had a lot of debt, right? But I never filed for bankruptcy, Bob, because I managed to negotiate a lot of those debts. I managed to pay off a lot of people. And at the end of the day, I think if I would have filed for bankruptcy, it would have been harder for me to get back on track. So I still, to this day, I believe I'm the wealthiest person on the planet because I have opportunities coming my way, even though my bank account might say something different in a certain day. I know there's always new opportunities coming our way. So that's how I see bankruptcy, right? So now what's mistake number 11, Bob?
Procrastination. You just keep procrastinating. You got to get it to number 1. You just have to set a deadline with a consequence. And if you don't have a deadline, it'll keep pushing off.
You're right. I've been pushing my book and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And you know what? I'm guilty of it. And I know I had those 30 minutes. And I actually forgot about my book for quite a while until about a month ago. I started going through my files and I pulled out the book and I started reading.
Good book.
It's an amazing book, and I can't believe I haven't finished it. Right, and I'm one of the main reasons why I wanted to get you on the podcast was number one, so you can talk about how to write a book, but number two, um, to put myself out there that I will finish this book by December 31st. So
There we go.
so we're gonna have a call, Bob, probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks to get realigned on the titles and all of that stuff. There's things that I need to add now because it's been so long that other things have happened, right? So, but I am putting myself accountable to the world that I will have I don't say that I will have it published, but I will have it finished at least
There
to
you
get
go.
to get to the
Publishers. It's going to take you a month to get it up.
right.
Okay, good. Okay, the final is just thinking too small, and if you're thinking too small, I want you to be a #1 bestseller, not just an author. And therefore, most people just want to get their name on a book. And if the book never sells, it's as if you didn't have your name on anything. If nobody ever reads it, so what's the use of doing it? You want to be a best-selling author so that it continues to sell, so you generate leads, so your business grows. And Ricardo, there's nobody better than teach them that not only the YouTubing, you teach them how to do their social media, but you also teach them how to find the deals. You got a whole set of VAs, a very reasonably priced team of VAs who know how to find the deals and help you flip them. It's just I've always loved the way you do things, Ricardo. You're a big thinker. You don't
Thank you so much, Bob. I'm actually in the process of putting a new team together. I'm actually recording right now a free wholesaling course. Okay.
Yeah.
Free. And I'm giving all the secrets up front. That way, you said to keep some, but you know what? I'm giving it all away because you're right. When they really want to, succeed, they're going to reach out and say, can you help me do this? Right. So
That's right.
so I'm creating a whole new community in Spanish, by the way. It's going to happen in the first week of December. And I'm in the process of writing, recording actually the wholesaling course. I'm on module like number 5, and it's 20 modules altogether. So we're going to talk about that later. But Bob, I don't want to take more time away from you. I know you have another call coming in 5 minutes. I appreciate you. I love you, my friend. Thank you so much for jumping in today on this podcast. We have to do a number 2 in January if your time allows.
Yeah,
that
let's
way
do
we
it.
can
Absolutely.
we can continue to talk about how to write your book, and maybe we can get more into depth on how our audience can benefit from working with you like I have. So do you have any final words?
Authorsummits.com is where you can sign up for my free thing. Authorsummits.com.
Authorsummits.com.
Yeah. Wish you well, everybody. You got a book in you, but you got wealth. You got a great life ahead of you. And if we can help you in any way, help you accomplish that, that's our dream. That's our plan. See ya.
Bob is the best. So go find them. Thank you so much, Bob. You have a great day.
See you. Bye.